Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to another Crypto Maniacs podcast. On the glorious blockchain, of course, as always. We're streaming live for your viewing and listening pleasure on Twitter because we love Web3. We are also on YouTube because we love Web3. But we're also on Vim because we really do love Web3. I posted at the Hive. Of course, the default posting is 100% of the rewards going to rewards app. So that sucks. So if you're upvoting this stream on Vim, you are upvoting rewards app. Don't you think default things should be 50-50?
Default thing should be 0. Wait, what do you mean in terms
Rewards
of beneficiary or in terms of the payout?
Beneficiaries. Like it goes to someone else instead of the author.
It should be empty.
Like it goes to the author, right?
Yeah. Let the author choose. Without, I mean, if you're going to do it, you better have a major disclaimer. But,
I pressed post live and I just realized that it's going directly to rewards app. So I don't know why they did that. It's a little suspect, but
yeah, well, it's that's how you lose users. That's how you piss people off and they say fuck you.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. And if you're YouTube, you can do that shit because you're YouTube. Yeah. But and we wonder why Web3 is failing.
Yeah, Vim, if you do listen to this stream, guys, don't make the default reward app. I don't know anything about reward app. I'm sure it's a fantastic project. Give the author the default. If they choose to send it to rewards app, that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, my wife sneakily just came in and grabbed the birds, which was awesome. Big shout out to my wife because the birds were starting to make a little bit of noise, and this is we're thinking of the viewers and listeners task. We don't want the birds to be squawking.
Shoot them.
Yes. I like it. I like it. Are you in the market for birds, Task? Do you want me to send you some cockatiels down to Florida, or you okay? Yeah.
No, we have enough cocks in Florida.
It went there, yes, and big shout out to Task for you were threading out a lot of Afro tunes today, videos.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I've done about 3, and a Cuban singer. There's a method to the madness, and we're starting to do stuff, and a couple people are helping out. Lisa M. Gentile being one. She is the one capturing all the singles, and she, I'll tell you what, she jumped ahead of 99% of Hive very quickly because she had an insight. Had been building a database for about a week, and she gained a tremendous amount of insight as to what network effects are and exponentiality in a week. So
I tried to defend you today, even though I know you don't need defending, but there was more content about taskmasters just spamming threads, so I had to try to break it down. But it's the Green Candle Gang, man. So I just do you want to explain why you're putting content out and the value you're bringing? Because apparently this, even though we've spoken about this for I don't know months, maybe you want to.
Yeah, I mean it all goes back to the simple fact of what are network effects. I mean, this is really where it starts. What's a network effect, Django?
It's the snowball, let's say, the rolling down the it starts catching fire. It starts growing on its own, but it needs that initial shove.
Well, what a network effect is most people think of the primary network effect of social media, where you join something because your friends or family are there. So you're on Facebook because your friends or family are there, right? You understand that? Twitter, Facebook, very simple.
Right.
But that's only one network effect. And people say, well, we need more users. We need more users because that's the answer. It's like that isn't encompassing at all because take, oh, I don't know, Apple. They don't have social media. They take Google search. Do you care if your friends and family are on Google search, Django? No. You use Google search. So obviously, what kind of network effects does search have, Google search, if it's not contingent upon who's on there and knowing who's on there? And it's because there's these things called secondary network effects, which if you don't have the primary network effects, you better have a secondary network effect. And you're not, as you've talked about, as we've talked about, the idea that you're going to pull all these people away from Facebook when all their friends and family are on Facebook is pretty foolish. It's not going to happen. You might capture one or two here or there, but it's not going to happen. So the idea of looking at the primary network effect is just barbaric. I mean, we talked about this last week where, okay, there's no news. So if you come over to Hive, if you're on Hive and you want to find out what the hell's going on in the world, you have to leave and go to Twitter. Well, so what are you trying to do? You already have a leaky ship, a leaky boat, and you're trying to throw more people in that they fall through the cracks. So what you do with the secondary effect, who has this? Platforms. What are platforms? Pandora, Spotify, Airbnb, Uber. Do people use Uber because their friends use Uber? No. Do people use Airbnb because their friends use Airbnb? Does Airbnb need 1 billion people to use it for you to get value out of Airbnb? No, Airbnb needs to find you one place in the city you're looking at staying at in your price range. That's all they have to do. They don't have to get you 10,000 places. They need one. And so what music on Leo is doing, what the spamming of threads is doing, is using Hive as a database. These threads are captured. Out of this, we capture it, we build a singles page, and then we can build playlists out of it. See, this is now called the network effect in terms of utility, because now you take something that's in the database and you can easily repurpose it for other things. And unlike most threads, you're not going to get 0 or 1 view. On songs, go look on YouTube. Okay, maybe a lot of that's botted, so the numbers may be off. But the simple fact of the matter is you can find thousands of songs that have over 1 million views apiece. Thousands of them.
For sure.
Even the same damn song. Pick a song. Painted Black by the Rolling Stones. There's probably 20 versions on there, and they all have over 1 million views apiece. Okay, YouTube has a shitload of people, and also they've been up there 5, 8, 10, 15 years that they've been up there, that the songs are up there. So that's the same thing we're doing. So if you hear Cal talking about the flywheel effect, the problem with that is unless you have any network effects supporting the flywheel effect, your flywheel effect is going to fail. So you look at Amazon. Well, what did Amazon start out at? Did they start out as a cloud company? No. Did they start out as a retailer? No. Did they start out as a movie studio? No. Did they start out as a broadcast network? No. What they start out as? An online bookstore. And what they do? They put up their first book. Then they put up their second book. Excuse me, ebooks. These weren't even, I don't even think they had physical books to start. I think it was just ebooks. And they kept building their ebook collection. Then they added physical books. Then what they do? Oh, they brought out Kindle.
Yeah.
So they not only brought out hardware, they created their own protocol, if you will. I think that's the right word. They created their own protocol, the Kindle. So now you have the software, the hardware, and the ebooks. Right. And of course, they've expanded into bazillions of other things. And Now, as you know, we've talked about the other day, if you're in the Amazon ecosystem and um, you do not have Amazon Prime, you're pretty foolish. I mean, I'm not an Amazon user, but if you shop on Amazon and you use anything with Amazon for the, you know, $12 a month or whatever the hell they charge, it's pretty foolish not to get that. And so they sit there and saying, "Oh, Task is spamming the blockchain." Well, first off, it's only spamming threads. Spamming threads. It's only spamming threads because you assholes aren't putting up enough threads. Seriously, if there were 15 threads in between each one of my threads, who would notice?
Exactly. Yeah.
No. So the only reason why anybody can accuse me of spamming threads is because I'm the only one using it at parts of the day, you know. And it's like you get me late at night. I did this last night, and yeah, there was nothing in between anything I put up. Nothing for like 15 minutes. So that's my fault? No, that's your fault for not putting up enough threads. And so this is where when you start with this idea of a platform, what has to be realized is platforms can garner and bring in value from the exterior, and it takes that aggregate of small value creation and spreads it across the entire platform. So the idea is to start doing things that and news on Leo is a prime example. Something small, something simple, something that is not going to be revolutionary. It's not going to create stickiness per se, but it does create a bit of stickiness when, and if you notice, John, you look at the page, what's the number one thread right now? Number one tag, news on Leo. How many? Right. It's over 100. Why? I'm not the only one doing it. There's other people using it. They're using it in their own way. Some include articles in there, some do whatever, some just read something and post a short little thread about it, whatever people want to do. But see, now suddenly we have some information that I don't necessarily have to run to. I didn't have to run to Twitter to find out about Jim Harper. I found out about him on Threads. I don't find out. Somebody wrote the other day, I think it was Free Compliments, that I get all my death notices on Threads. Yeah. I mean, that's cool. Yeah.
It's the obituary of social media, right?
Well, I mean, he's here, and I will go and grab when somebody famous dies that I know of. I'll put something up. Some other people have. And, Free Compliments is right. As long as it's not his death notice that he's reading, he's probably doing okay. So these are the things that start the process of the network effect. And that's why I've written articles. We're doing music on Leo, news on Leo. What about history on Leo? What about bills on Leo? What about sports on Leo? What about NFL on Leo? And this is all just hashtags and stuff like that. But this is what gives people stuff to utilize. And that in a strange way, because all of a sudden now I see bills on Leo as an example, or I see news on Leo, I can join in and I can say, hey, I found out this news from Israel, or I have this Australian newspaper that I read, and here's a headline from the Australian newspaper, and boom, there it is. And that's adding more value to the platform. And it's coming from somebody not necessarily on the outside, because you obviously need a Hive account, but that's deriving value, what little it is in aggregate it adds. And so that's exactly what Lisa was talking about with the music on Leo, for those who were saying, oh, spamming the blockchain or spamming threads. We're capturing that. And you know what? Now we can create playlists very quickly, very effectively, very efficiently. And next month, her and I have a goal where collectively between the two of us, we're going to do about 120 playlists just in the month. We can do that because there's over 4,000 songs now in music on Leo. We can do it a lot quicker. We don't have to go search YouTube. We don't have to dig into YouTube. We don't even have to visit YouTube. But what we do have to do for all you assholes out there who think this is stupid, do you know what we have to do to get that? We have to open up the damn song. We have to open up the thread, which means it's a click on the thread. So if each of us does a playlist of 12 songs, that means there's 12 clicks on those old threads. There's 12 more. I mean, it's page views are crucial. And this is what people seem not to want to understand. It's like, we need more users. No, you don't need more users. You need the people here actually using the stuff. Wait, John, maybe we should start talking about that. Have we ever talked about being a product of the product? Have we ever talked about using Web3? Nah,
no, because
in our next business meeting for Cryptomaniacs, let's put that on the agenda to talk
definitely
about.
something we've never touched on. Yeah, the next point that because the argument was, what value is this bringing to Leo? And then of course the
what
guy
value do their fucking threads bring?
Well, this is he throws
Moron?
up a screenshot of the price of Leo. And I was just like, this is this small-minded thinking that is in crypto. And then Sadkree, who's watching on Threadcast right now, salute to him. He put it out there. He was like, this stuff is just market manipulation. That's all this stuff is. And I'm like, yeah, that's what crypto is, because we are a bunch of degenerates that are looking at the price. So what we're looking at is not even day by day task. We're looking minute by minute what the price of something is. And we've attached the price of a token to the value. That's what we've done as users of this stuff. And then
I'll give you an example of how stupid markets are. Tesla had their earnings call yesterday. The price is being killed. It's being killed, down 11% last time I looked. Why? Because Tesla missed their numbers. Well, what are the numbers? That is the projection that Wall Street puts out there for what Wall Street thinks a company should do in the revenue and profit. So Tesla missed. How the fuck did Tesla miss when Tesla did what Tesla did? The revenues are what the revenues. It sounds like Wall Street's shitty at their forecasting. They got it wrong, not Tesla. So now you have a situation where the stock is getting crushed. No. I don't really give a shit because it's a buying opportunity. But even more importantly, these people say, oh, the earnings call, they were negative and all this other stuff. When the company said, we are between two growth cycles, we are between it. They've said it numerous times. We have completed our last growth cycle. Our product rollout is now looking at like the second half of 2025. They're going to have about 3 things that are all hitting within a 6 or 8 month period of time, which will spur the next leg of growth. Right. What do these assholes say? They didn't give guidance on their cars for this year. So the stock gets killed. Markets do not know value. Why? Tesla was at $100. Tesla's at $400. A month and a half ago, it was at $300. Now it's at $190 or something. When the fuck was the market right? I mean, were they right at 100 and wrong at the rest? Were they right at 400 and wrong at the rest? How the hell? Where are they right? They're all over the place. So this is where, like you said, if you learn anything from watching Cryptomaniacs, let it be this: markets do not capture value. It's price. It's a popularity contest. That's what the stock market is. It's just any market. It's a popularity contest. How many people are excited about buying this, or how many people are excited about selling this? And so when you look at creating value and you want to come at me about spam and threads, okay, let's have an on-air conversation where you can talk about networks, you can talk about platforms, you can talk valuation of platforms and networks, and I guarantee you, I will put 100,000 Leo up against anybody that I know more about this shit than they do.
You know what's funny? You make
that person, I should say. I mean, not anybody. There's people who know a lot more about this than I do.
You put that challenge out, and it reminds me of like when They Call Me Dan put that challenge out to everyone, talking about blockchains and stuff. Like no one took them up on it because everyone has an opinion, but when it comes down to the nitty gritty, it's opinion. That's all it is.
Well, when it comes down to the tentacles, the tenets and the basics and the potentiality of blockchain, they call me Dan is going to eat the lunch of almost everybody out there from what I can see. Okay, maybe a guy like Vitalik, but Vitalik knows the program, and does he know the other stuff? I don't know, maybe. But Dan they call me Dan, very select company there. I mean, I'm not going to question him on Ethereum. I'm not going to question him about the problems with a lot of these blockchains. He's gone through it. He's done a deep dive. Yeah. And you wanna debate that guy? Good luck on that stuff. Good luck. Knock yourself out. I'm not going to do it. I defer to him on that. He knows a lot more about it. But again, what the hell do you know? If you're sitting there looking at the price, saying, "Oh, the Taskmaster spamming thread, so it's killing the value." Why? Because the price is down. Well, you're a fucking idiot. I mean, really, you're an idiot. You really have no concept of even markets, let alone platform building and value creation, databases, network effects. None of that. And this is all of Hive. Well, what about marketing? We need marketing. Why? We need more users. Why? So they can fall through the hole in the boat. That's exactly what's happening. And I don't say this on speculation. It's the fucking history. What is Hive's history? We have lousy retention. Well, how do you fix retention? Maybe seal the hole in the damn boat. People won't fall through. So this is where, you want to come at me. It's like, okay, what are you building? Let's see what you're building. And don't ever say that in front of my face. If I see that thread, I'm going to fucking eat your lunch. I don't know. I'm not going to go look for it, but
thankfully, Task doesn't check his mentions. That's good.
Well, I haven't today. Maybe I should go through.
Eliana said she had to move herself to the phone because it's rant maniacs on the go. Yes. This is what we do here. You got to start. You got to start the pot. We got to be honest, Shango. We put up worthless content like everybody else. It's worthless content. We got like whatever 300 or 500 or however. How many episodes do we have? 200, and this will be 287.
So we have 287 episodes, and I'll tell you honestly, there's nothing in there. I mean, even when we had popular people like Block Trades, no, seriously, we had Block Trades.
That was 2 years ago. There's nothing.
I know. Does anybody give a shit what Block Trade said 2 years ago? Does anybody give a shit what you or I said 2 years ago? No, of course not.
2 minutes ago, not even 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, 2 minutes ago, but. We answer a few questions once in a while, so maybe that helps some people out in the moment, and we provide entertainment. I mean, people tune in because we're entertaining. That's why you watch Jay Leno and Carson and, The Office. You don't learn much from The Office, I wouldn't think, or Breaking Bad. Maybe you learn how to cook meth. I don't know.
How to cook meth, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But, it was entertainment. So you get a little bit of education from the cryptomaniacs, but you get a lot of entertainment. You want to lighten your mood. But, don't think for a second that any of this is not grounded in knowledge, because what I write about, what I'm talking about, I can promise you is grounded in a lot of research, a lot of knowledge, a lot of understanding about technology, technological advancement, the pace of technological progress. This is not something that I just started researching last week. I've been following this shit for 25 years. Probably longer than a lot of people have been out of diapers on this show.
Oh, boy. Oh, Threadcast is going off. Sadcree's like, we're at 66. We got 66 more comments to go before we hit 100. Let's go. Let's go. And the dog is barking. Of course, the dog is barking.
Yeah, I mean, it's, Threadcasts are another thing. And it's like these, I had somebody, I'll keep it nameless. He said, well, we shouldn't promote numbers in the Threadcast because then the people can't find the questions. And it's like, we should stop that. When that was said to me, I'm like, are you fucking for real? Are you that moronic? Figure out some other way to figure out how to get the questions. Type in question before your question. But you want the numbers. I mean, you want Threadcast with 3, 4, 500, 1,000 comments in it. You want activity. You want engagement. You want things that you can promote and say, what is this thing called Threadcast? Well, Django and I do a Threadcast each week. In the last Threadcast, we got 450 comments in it instead of 4. We got 4 questions. Look at our Threadcast. Aren't you excited to use one? You should use one for your video too, your broadcast too. Of course not. You're going to see 4 questions. It's like, why the hell am I going to do that? Duh.
No, I love it.
But what happens? Yesterday, we had 4 Threadcasts going. I mean, they weren't going at the same time because, there's a 12-hour thing. But yeah, your La Olive was up there. There were 3 other Threadcasts. I think Cal's thing was up there.
King Chatter was up, yeah.
Yeah, and so, 3 or 4. I think Tokenized, they set one up for the Brazilian community. And, that was cool to see. So you have 4 Threadcasts. Some are popular, some are not, but that's cool. So this is something, again, going back to that network effect. Why do we only have a few people using Threadcast? I mean, obviously, a lot of people don't do broadcasts, so that's understandable. But once you get people doing broadcasts either on Spaces or on YouTube or anything like we're doing here, why not set up a Threadcast? If you're on Hive, if you're on Leo, set up a Threadcast. CTT, when they have their broadcasts, they're not even on Leo. They set up a Threadcast. So these are tools. And I sent out a thread earlier. You know what the difference, Django? We talked last time about owners versus users, or owners versus employees or users. You know what owners I want? Owners should want tools. Users want features. Don't give me features. I mean, a lot of times they're one and the same. But a tool is something I can use to build things. And you need features for usability, and I understand that, but we need tools, and Threadcasts are a tool, and it's a tool for the ecosystem to build around. And, we don't have the biggest Threadcast going, but they were screwed up a week ago. How naked did we feel when the Threadcasts weren't working? And it's like, we got to do a show without a Threadcast. Holy crap. How are we going to do that? I mean, we did it for like 2 years, but all of a sudden we're so in conditioned. It's like, how do we have a Threadcast how do we have a show without a Threadcast? I mean, we had to think about this, put that on the next Crypto Maniac business meeting agenda. How do we survive without a Threadcast?
Yep. Smoke signals. That's how we do it. It's entertaining. A little bit of a rant on my end. You were mentioning this is entertainment and, the edutainment, right? I mean, there's a little bit of education, a little bit of time-sensitive stuff that people can take if they get a good chuckle out of it, whatever. But one of the things that I'm trying to harp on, especially with La Olive, and I've said this for years in CTP, is that you got to stop being, boring. And, dude, I've been going to these spaces that are on Twitter now, and holy moly donut shop. It's regurgitated spew. Just the same. Everyone's got an NFT as their profile picture. Everyone sounds the exact same. They're using these stupid words like alpha all the time. And it's just you can't differentiate at all. You can't. Mm-hmm. And I think that as creators here on Leo, just like you said, the tools and features that are here, we should be using this to make our stuff a little bit more exciting. That's actually quite marketable, that we are actually a Web3 platform in a community that's actually using Web3. But for whatever reason, we are stuck on this boring, same old from the geniuses that are the creators on NFT. They have NFTs as their profile pictures, and these are the Web3 influencers. It blows my mind.
Well, and again, you look at these people, and it's like, okay, my question is, how many platforms have you successfully built? How many successful platforms have you been a part of? Do you even understand anything about platform economics? Do you understand the difference between a primary and a secondary network effect? These are not.
Their idea of building a platform is going on TikTok. That's
and getting back to what you were saying, and I don't necessarily know these people. I certainly didn't know them before recently. I don't know anything about Dave Portnoy, but I know he now owns, for switching over to Rumble, he has stake in Rumble. They gave him equity. I didn't know who the fuck Pat McAfee was before he signed on with ESPN. I knew the name Tucker Carlson, but I never watched his show, still haven't. But what do these people have in common? They're not boring. They're controversial. They piss people off. They have their share of haters. And you know what? They have a ton of eyeballs. And Rush Limbaugh's ratings would go up. Rush Limbaugh, the conservative radio host, his ratings would go up during Democratic presidencies. Why? Because the Democrats would tune in. They would push his ratings to see what the hell he would say about the Democratic administration, which, of course, he didn't hold back. And this is what you have. And we'll go back to spam and threats. Guess what? You know my fucking name, don't you? You know my fucking name. You know me. And see, I'll tell you another thing. I'll tell you how effective it is.
Just smell it right. That's always what I used to say.
You know who spammed his way into my eyesight? Sean NFT. Now I don't know if the NFT has anything to do with that. And I don't even know if this is a guy or girl. He, she, they, whatever pronoun you want to attribute, is over in Asia somewhere. And this person jumped on Leo, music on Leo, and started filling it up. And I'm like, holy shit. So I went to him just like I went to you and said, listen, save me time, do this. And so now every couple of days, this person will send me a text document, a TXT document with like 60 songs on. And I'll just simply create a page for it. You don't think this person's on my radar? Of course this person's on my radar. So, now, do you think that if this person would have gotten on my radar by sitting there and posting Bitcoin price charts? Do you think this person would get on my radar by posting pictures of food? And here's something, and I mentioned it the other day. And getting on my radar isn't the end all be all because I'm just one person. So maybe pictures of Bitcoin charts get you on other people's radar, and that's fine. I mean, I have no problem with people who post charts of Bitcoin or crypto or stocks or whatever. If that's your thing, that's your thing.
That's your thing, right?
But the big catch is, what is meaningful? Because meaningful will get returned. And meaningful video or audio has a much better chance of getting returned to than meaningful text. And again, I go to look at those YouTube songs. Now, go around the web, Django, and we can find thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of songs on YouTube with millions of views. Mm-hmm. Go find me articles around the web that have gotten 1 million views in their lifetime. You'd be hard pressed to find them. I mean, obviously you can't look because most of them don't have counters on them, but you get my point. If we could somehow, look at a page and know exactly how many lifetime clicks that got, how many do you think would get 1 million?
Right.
Even for major publications like CNN or New York Times or Los Angeles Times or whatever, aren't going to get that too often. So what are we talking about? Are we talking about page views? What are we talking about in terms of a network effect? And if you just sit there and say the answer is more users, that's not the answer, because all it is the leaky boat. And so when I look at those tags, and they are getting better, I have to say, in my opinion, maybe I'm a little biased, but when you have news on Leo, let's see, you have news on Leo, you have crypto, you have sports.
My diary, free compliments, music on Leo, Hive, sports in Leo. That's the top 8.
Yeah. So, the Hive and the in Leo are still in need of replacement. But again, people are using the news on Leo I'm not the one doing it. I didn't put up 100 news on Leo in the last 24 hours. Other people are adopting it, and it's wonderful. And, there's other ideas. Jimmy Adamas, a friend of the show, he has time limitations because he works full time and other things, but he's been playing with different tags. He's been playing with different ideas. He's been playing with different things that he puts up. So that's what it takes, some experimentation and innovation. And it takes, keep doing it, one person doing it until somebody else sees it and says, hey, okay, I'll join in. And then, all of a sudden History on Leo has 2 people posting about History on Leo. Then there's 3, then 4, then 5. And maybe you get a thriving tag going.
Dude, it's funny. Like, we were planning on, getting the Threadcast up and checking out people's questions, and it's like 36 minutes into it, and we haven't even looked at the Threadcast yet. Should we try to dive into a couple of the questions?
Well, I'm sure you've been following. You've been laughing.
Oh, I've been following. Been upvoted everybody. I want that curation APR, baby. Woo! I'm just crushing it with this, man. Just upvoting people's comments on Threads through the roof. I like it. Anyways, let's go be products of our product, folks. And we are going to open up the Threadcast just to dive into a few questions here. Now, of course, we have the Bills Mafia as the image, because Task
Bills on Leo is the next
Bills on Leo
hashtag to be focused upon, and Django is going to head that up, as I said in the Threadcast.
Yeah, I'll get Josh Allen on the platform next. He's coming. Steph Diggs too. Anyways, let's.
Why go for number 2 if you're going to go get an NFL quarterback? Get Patrick Mahomes. He's the Tom Brady of today.
No, dude.
Why go after Peyton when you can have Tom Brady?
Oh my gosh! Well, people are calling him Phillip Rivers. They're not even calling him Manning anymore.
They're not even. Hey, man, they're not even calling Daniel Jones anything. So he doesn't.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, that's true. This is why I think, Bills fans got to lowered expectations a bit. Like, I think people forget how bad it was for 17 years. We didn't even sniff the playoffs. I'm just happy we're in the conversation every year. Well, we don't win it. It's like these guys are like, oh, they lose a lot. It's like, yeah, 31 other teams lose a lot every year.
Yeah, the Super Bowl loser is just the first loser.
Exactly. Runner up.
Yeah, I mean, name some of the quarterbacks post Jim Kelly that you've had. I mean, you
Trent Edwards, JP Lossman, everyone. Like, who are you going to take? I don't know. I think I'll take Josh. Anyway.
Hell, we had what was his name? Tyler, the black quarterback, pretty good. He was your savior a number of years.
Tyrod Taylor. Yeah,
Tyrod Taylor. He's pretty good, but I mean, he's a backup journeyman type.
He's a solid backup. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a solid backup. Your quarterback goes down, he can step in and not be totally lost. But he's not going to be in the mention for Hall of Fame. I remember when he was drafted, Mel Kiper. Oh, they got a wonderful quarterback. I'm like, okay, man, we'll see.
Yeah. Andersino's up first because we'll skip all the Bills hatred and stuff. That's okay. How much would you value your Hive account to? I think my account is worth more than the $450 it says on Peak D. I guess that comes into this is the thing, because the next question he says, would you ever consider to sell your Hive account? This is I know where he's going with this, because this was my mentality. Anytime I started a business, I was married to it, but I could get a divorce pretty quick. Like, I had no problem selling a website that I created. Case in point, past couple of months, we've sold basically every single website that Eliane and I owned. They're gone. What's the value attached to your Hive account? I think what's really unique about this question is that Hive has that social layer, and you can't really put a price, I think, on relationships. And this kind of goes into the reputation and the whole nine that we have on Hive. The price is what it's saying as it's being tied to the price of the token. But do you see what I'm saying, Tass? Like, the value.
I see what you're saying, and maybe in part, certainly that's a factor. I'm not going to say it's not, but I think it's even more basic with Hive, unlike your YouTube account, unlike your Twitter account, unlike your Facebook account, which, leaving aside the fact that they can take those and erase your digital life in an instant. With Hive, you have a piece of your account is tied to the digital real estate, and your reputation, if you want, for lack of a better word, what you just described, is tied to the value. Collectively, we all make up the value of whatever's here, and so you, as an entity in that, you contribute to that, and you contributed in many ways more than your token holding, where, okay, I own 0.0001% of the total stake. Well, your contribution could be much greater based upon who you are, what you're doing. They call me Dan. Going back to him, he's a prime example. Yeah, he's one of the larger stakeholders. So we can look in and figure out what his holdings are versus the total, and say, okay, he's worth 1.2% or whatever the hell he has. But then you could look at him and say his contribution is a lot more than what he's holding. Hou, I don't know what's in his wallet, but Hou's contribution as a base layer developer is a lot more than whatever he's holding. And so that is rather unique because A, we're so small you can stand out, but B, you have that equity stake that you can influence. We don't have any equity stake on Twitter. We don't have any. I mean, you might have the equity stake if you own Facebook stock or Meta stock, but then you look with 2 billion or 3 billion people, what impact are you going to have?
Right.
What impact are you going to have on YouTube that's going to affect the totality of Google? I mean, even if you're a Mr. Beast, in the totality of Google, is Mr. Beast even a big deal? Probably not. Mm-hmm. So, that's the difference. So, yeah, I think if your outlook on Hive is optimistic, if your outlook on some of these projects are optimistic, like Leo, if you're working your ass off to get the attention of people through your efforts, through your activity, through your engagement, through your podcast, through whatever you're doing, through your commenting, through your threading. Yeah, I think it's worth a hell of a lot more. I'd say Andersino is worth a hell of a lot more to this blockchain and to this ecosystem in Leo than $450. I mean, I don't really know the guy, but I can tell you, seeing him around, it's worth more than $450. So,
he also follows it up with, do we have any news on Ragnarok? I haven't heard anything. Have you, Task?
No, I don't know anything. I don't know if there's been any announcements. If it's not on Threads, I don't see it. Even if it's on Threads, half the time I don't see it. But
what other communities are you part of? Andersino wants to know. Basically, Leo. That's it.
Next, yeah, I mean,
yeah, I even wear the shirt now. You like the shirt? I got this from Scaredy Cat. He's selling.
I can't see it.
No, it's just a Leo logo. Who are you voting for as witnesses, and why? What proposals are you voting for?
What, you want us to go through every single one? I mean,
I'm voting for your standards. I vote apps. I think 3Speak, Leo. I vote Arcane because the stuff he does. I vote Acid because I love Holozing, and Acid's been doing a lot for Hive over the years. I mean, I'm a little different. Like, yeah, and again, this is the thing about the blockchain. All you got to do is go to hiveblocks.com and you can see who everyone votes for,
or PT or any of them.
PT, right? So, I like vote. And a lot of people don't necessarily share this opinion with me, but I like voting with the guys and the gals that I actually have relationships with on Hive. It's just, if I know them, they've been guests on the show here. If they support me, I support them. I mean, it's it's the good old boy network. Well, no, because I'm voting for a lot of people that are not in the top 20.
Yeah.
So it's relationships for me. Brian of London, I vote for. I mean, so
Town Hall, you vote for?
Town Hall, obviously. So everyone should vote Town Hall for witness. Hint, hint,
I would agree with that statement. I think it should be I think it should be coded in the blockchain personally.
Yes,
But anyway, that might not pass, but I think it should be. It's voting for witnesses. You got a number of different sides to the equation, and you want to support obviously different projects and people you think are really contributing. But then again, you also want to support those are going to keep the blockchain safe.
Going.
And I vote block trades. Does block trades need my vote? No. But I know if there's an issue, block trade's going to be right in there. I vote Markey.
Right. Yeah.
Why? Does Markey need my vote? No. But if there's an issue, Markey's going to be in there.
Right.
Same with Yabamat. So, same with Archange. Not only does Archange create its own stuff, but Archange also has a good understanding of blockchain and security and crypto security and all that stuff. So, these are things that you have to weigh, and it's up to each individual. There's a reason, and Dan and Starkers talk about this. There's a reason why the top 20 doesn't change very often, and it's a good thing. Mm-hmm. You don't want that to be a revolving door. You don't want a bunch of people in there who, have all kinds of wacky ideas. Now, you don't necessarily want people cemented in there for life, but if there's no problems with the blockchain in terms of, going down, and we've had our issues with nodes. Well, guess what? Django and I aren't going to fix those issues with nodes. Neither are Dan or Starkers. Neither is a Nomad Soul. We're just not going to have any input into that whatsoever. We're not developers. So those are the people who have to step up and be at the front line. It is technical in nature. So that's why I didn't have a problem when Hou and his partner shut it down, their server, the witness node, and then he opened up his own and went right to the top or flew right up the ranks. Yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. Now, would I want 20 consensus witnesses who are all just technical people? No, because they miss a whole lot of the other equation. That's one reason why we started Town Hall, is to address some of the other equations. Mm-hmm. I think it's up to, again, Django mentioned it before, reputation. What's the reputation? If you look at somebody, it's like, who the hell are you? Yeah. No, then you may want to question that and research that person. What are they doing?
Yeah, that's a good point. Esme Smith comes in with a question. How do you guys get the data of your growth since you joined the chain? Is it possible to get old data? I mean, I just get everything from Hive Stats. And I saw a sneak peek what Cal was doing. He put it on Threads yesterday, I think, or the day before, with the new dashboard that they're building for Leo. And holy moly, donut shop. I mean, just give me the green candles, baby. Just give me everything green. I want everything green. If I see green, I'm going. That's how I don't listen. I'm not very technical at all. So Hive Stats to me keeps it stupid simple in my face. That's where I get my information from.
I'm going to tangent here and go back to spamming the thread.
Yes.
No, this is something we talked about a while back with numbers, quantifiers. This is crucial for marketing. People don't even think about this. And again, when you see the Hive marketing team out there and they don't mention it, it's like, well, you people really don't understand. I mean, who doesn't know 4 out of 5 doctors? You've heard that for years. Now, I'm going to hypothesize they didn't ask 5 doctors the question, but they use that. And the point I'm making, notice lately how some people are freaked out because they can't look at the number of threads and the number of thread comments on Leo. It's been erased. They're zeroed out, right? Mm-hmm. And not that people looked at that before, but now that it's gone, it's like, wait a second, we want that.
Take care, right?
Yeah. Why? Yeah. Because I don't know how. I want to know what I'm doing. I want to know where I stand.
Yep.
So in the game, you can call it gamification or game theory or whatever you want, but numbers. What am I doing with music on Leo? What have I been saying all along? Where we have this many songs, we have this many playlists. We plan on producing this many playlists. Leo Glossary has this many pages. They're quantifiers. Why? Quantifiers are extremely important. So now, if you have this dashboard, or if we have this dashboard that Leo team is building, that gives quantifiers. That allows people to see what is going on in regards to their activity.
Right.
Now, I didn't see what you're mentioning, so I don't know what's going to be on there. But the point being, that's a step in the right direction, because if you think of yourself as a business, some of these quantifiers, above and beyond how much I'm earning, are important. How many threads are you doing? How many thread counts? How many page views are you getting on them? How much revenue are you generating for the platform? Because going back to the question about the Hive account, this is where I think the transition from Web 2 to Web 3 comes in. It isn't what are you doing for your brand? What are you doing to get yourself seen? I don't give a fuck. What are you doing to add value to the platform? Because I have stake in the platform. Django has stake in the platform. Anybody with Leo has stake in the platform. So my question is, what are you doing to enhance the value of this platform? What business are you building? What database are you building? What activity are you taking that's going to enhance the value of this platform? What exponentialities are you going to help to kick off that create this? And that the answer is going to be different. Well, the answer for most people is going to be nothing. I use a platform. I'm a user. Nope, wrong answer. No vote. No, only downvotes for you from now on. What are you doing? And people say, well, I post news on Leo. Okay, that again, it's not astronomical, but the small things in aggregate add up. I'm starting this project. I'm doing this. I'm doing, history on Leo. Jimmy Adamas with his little dictionary word of the day thing. Okay, that's something cool, whatever. I mean, not my thing, but that's a good idea. These are things that start to really impact the ecosystem and kick off those network effects, so that when all of a sudden people show up, because as I've said, how am I going to market music on Leo? Through quantity. I'm going to simply go onto X and say, music on Leo has 1,500 playlists comprising of over 20,000 songs, or whatever the hell the numbers work out to be. That's a hell of a lot better than saying, post on Hive. It's the best place. We're Web 3, even though I'm talking about it on Web 2.
Speaking of Web 2 and Web 3, Esme Smith has a question, and Lucille actually kind of follows it up with one here. So she said, you guys tried getting into NFTs or any other digital content other than on the Hive blockchain? And Lucille wants to know, why do I dislike NFTs so much? It's not that I dislike NFTs, and no, I haven't really messed with anything outside of the Hive ecosystem. I believe that people go with fads, and the NFT craze, putting your picture as an NFT, on all social media, talking about NFTs, using the term Web3, even though you swear, all of it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Now, if someone wants to call themselves an NFT expert and they're actually, developing stuff on true Web3, and there's more use cases for it, not just a profile picture, not a Bored Ape Club stuff, like, I'm all for it. But the regurgitated spew, I've used that term a few times, that is crypto and the NFT market, it's just like, there's nothing unique about it. Nothing. There's nothing unique about, as Nifty called them, crypto NFT bros. The NFT bros, there's nothing unique about them. They all sound the same. They're lemmings. They're Green Candle Gang members. They follow the trends. That's it. They just jump onto something because they think it's cool. Then all of a sudden they're an expert in it. Am I going on a rant? Yeah. You want to know why? Because I've seen this stuff for decades online. People just go to whatever's hot. They don't stick around and build anything with solid foundation. They just go to what's hot. They jump. They go from program to program, blockchain to blockchain, NFT to NFT, and then they sit there a couple years going, what's going on? Oh, we need to reinvent what we're doing. No, you dummies. You got to stay the course, and you got to stop jumping for whatever you think is cool. Like, put some skin in the game. And anyways, I can't stand the NFT bros. They ruined NFTs, because NFTs are a great idea on paper. Fantastic. And we've seen use cases. You know what? Actually, that's a lie. That's me. I do own some NFTs on other blockchains. You know what I own? Realty tokens. What are realty tokens? Fractional real estate properties. That's
not an NFT, because there's a certain amount of tokens available in that property, and it's divided by 10,000 tokens or 1,000,000 tokens or whatever. So that's not even an NFT. But
they could put the little certificate and here, you own this, and then they would say that's what they were going to do, and then they would have called it an NFT. Like, they would have put a little image to your little tiny piece that you owned. They were talking about doing that for forever, but.
NFTs, as me, have great potential, as John Go was saying, and there's a word that we use a lot on here: ownership. NFTs are great for deeding, for ownership. Yeah. They haven't been used like that. They've been used in the ownership for, like John Go said, a JPEG. It's like big deal.
Yeah.
And I've written a lot about high bonds. High bonds, when you strip it down, is really an NFT. And an NFT is a fungible token tied to some other data. And in this instance, it's data with high bonds, it would be data based upon a transaction of putting a certain amount of HBD into a time vault that pays out a particular interest rate and is timestamped. So that's the NFT. That has incredible value, or could potentially have incredible value. And I'm not talking incredible price. I'm talking incredible value in terms of the utility, depending on what else is built. But as Django was just saying, it goes back to building. And it's like, it's what this whole episode's been about. It's like, if you want to deal in a clown show, and the clowns are not only in the NFT world, unfortunately, the clowns are all over the place. The clowns are all over Leo. The clowns are all over Hive. Because few people actually take the time to understand what the fuck is going on. And I'm sorry to sound so arrogant. Actually, I'm not. Fuck you. I don't care. It's like, if you want to come at me, you better know more than me about this stuff. Now, I don't talk about coding, because I know zero about coding. So, but when you want to talk about the creation of network effects, you better not be talking about markets and pricing. Because that's not what does it. Yeah, it can kick off a FOMO, but at the end of the day, FOMO ends up with pump. Then what comes after the pump, Django? Dump. And what happened with all the NFTers? They got dumped on.
They can't even sell this stuff. Like, some of these losers bought these NFTs for millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. They can't even get like 5 figures for these things now, 4 figures.
Yeah,
because it was
like Justin Sun buying Jack Dorsey's first tweet for like $300,000.
Yeah,
and it's like, why? I mean, okay, from historical contents, whatever, but it's like, why? Now, if you give me an NFT to the Mona Lisa, okay, now we have something. If you give me an NFT to some land you own, Django, okay, now we have something. If you give me an NFT to your earnings, okay, now we have something. There's utility for this stuff, but without that, what these people bought into was, again, tulip mania. I'm not a big Bitcoin proponent. I'm far from a Bitcoin maxi, although, from a pricing standpoint, I think Bitcoin can go to whatever people think it'll go to. But Bitcoin is like 1,000 times greater in utility than these NFTs. And I don't think the utility on Bitcoin's that great, but
Yeah, right.
it's 1,000 times more than these NFTs. And they all sit there thinking about how to pump it. And I did a Lion's Den, well, it was not called Lion's Den then, about NFTs for Leo Glossary. And I said, okay, well, if Leo doesn't do it, which Leo probably won't, I ultimately will end up getting somebody to build a layer 2 where we will have NFTs on Leo Glossary. So what's a Leo Glossary NFT? Leo Glossary NFTs allow us to wiki on blockchain. Why? Django creates a page for the Buffalo Bills, let's say. He creates that page, he writes it up, he submits it. That gets posted. In return, Django gets the Buffalo Bills NFT.
Mm.
Now, any revenue that's derived off that page is sent to the NFT holder, which is Django. So now, what if Django gets involved and designs 1,000 different pages? He now has 1,000 different NFTs, and he's getting the income off those pages. Why? The NFT shows ownership of those pages in a bigger umbrella. There's a use case for it. There's utility for it. There's value in it. Now, if Django off his Buffalo Bills NFT is getting, I don't know, let's say he's getting $1 a month off of that page. So he gets $1 a month, a model for valuation. Let's say we take a 24-month ROI. So that'd be $24. So using that model, if that's a correct assumption, Django could then sell that NFT for about $24. I buy that NFT. It gets transferred to my account. I give him 24 HBD, let's say. He sends the token, the NFT to my account. Now I get the payout, 24 months. I get the $24 back, and I'm in the green. But what if I start marketing this page? What if I go out and I drop the page in all these Bills forums and all this other stuff, and I really improve the page and I add to it, and so all of a sudden I'm not making $1 a month, I'm making $2 a month. Now I get my money back in 12 months, and again using the same principles, then I could conceivably sell this for $48. This is digital real estate. This is how the idea of real estate in the virtual realm works. This isn't an NFT to something that's just, a pretty picture. Because to be honest with you, Django could go, or anybody could go to the Buffalo Bills Leo Glossary page, copy the information and stick it on another page and say, see, there it is. It's duplicated. Well, yeah, that's true. It is. The problem is it doesn't have the revenue. It doesn't have the value. It doesn't have the incorporation to other Leo Glossary pages. It doesn't have the incorporation to what else is going on in Leo. That's the difference. So these are how, if you understand the premise, all of a sudden what people are saying, it's like that what they're saying is absurd because you understand the premise of it. And it's like, there's no way that's going to have any value because it's not scarce. It can be easily duplicated. It's like, well, you don't own that. Well, who gives a shit? If I can go to Google search and click on images and take the damn same JPEG and copy and paste it, what the hell's the difference? Exactly. Unless there's some type of code that says, it comes up blank or something like that, unless I pay for it and that's programmed in, which you can do that with NFTs, then maybe you have something. But, how many of those clowns that you were listening to, Django, talk about that type of stuff? I would guess 0. None. Not a donut hole. They were probably talking, we're down 98%. How do we get these prices to go back up? That's probably what they spent the hour or 2 hours on the spaces talking about, if I had to guess.
Folks, it's always an adventure here on the Maniacs Show. We encourage you to take action and share this with your friends and family. Let them know about Leo. Let them know about Hive. Let them know about the NFTs that Task and I are going to be creating.
Yeah, again, I mean, if you and I brought out NFTs, hey, here's the Crypto Maniacs NFTs. It's like Donald Trump, $5,000 for a Donald Trump NFT to pay his legal fees. It's like, why? If you want to help pay his legal fees, just send him $5,000. Who gives a shit? But what do you think you're going to get with that NFT? I mean, if Django and I created an NFT series of Crypto Maniacs, unless we tie it to something. What? So you get our ugly mugs on a JPEG? I mean, really? What the hell's the point of that? Now, if we had a some type of club or some type of training or some type of something where if you bought this NFT, it's like an access key. Okay, fine. That's something different. Now we're building value to the NFT, building value to the token. NFTs, fungible token, it doesn't matter. You still have to build the value. Well,
Exactly.
what builds value? A picture of Django and me, that's not valuable. Hell, a picture of Brad Pitt, not valuable. Even as pretty as he is and the nice hair, you can find that on a Google search. So what is it? Does it get you a date with Brad Pitt? Okay, maybe then the NFT would have some value.
Date with Taskmaster. That'd be a hot seller,
I think I might have to pay them then.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, wait, there already is that service, isn't there? Very traditional. Let's go. We're traditional on the Crypto Maniacs. How do you can you okay? Can we NFT the prostitution market?
Oh boy, here we go.
Wait. Hear me out, Jungle. Imagine
boy.
if we had spaces on that where we brought out NFTs tied to the prostitution market. I bet we could sell them for millions and people would buy them up if we came up with a good story. It would be Tulip Mania on steroids. I mean, you don't get anything for it. You get virtually laid. How's that?
Warm and fuzzy feelings.
Virtual sex. That's what you get.
Oh boy. Thank you guys for coming.
Did we go our hour?
Yeah. We're past the point of no return here now, man. It's been fun. Thank you guys for listening to episode 287. Have a fantastic day, month, year. We'll see you guys next week. Toodles.